Hello and welcome to the Sensual Being podcast with myself, your host, Jolene Whiting. I have been a pole dance teacher for nearly 20 years. I'm also a yoga instructor, and my favourite pastimes are connecting to my own sensuality, connecting with the world, and connecting with animals as well. In this podcast, you'll find new and inventive ways of how you see yourself, connecting yourself with others, and also how you see and view the world around you. Welcome to this episode where we are going to be talking about the power of devotion to your craft, what it means to actually show up and to keep doing what you love. Hello, sensual being. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's one, I would like to talk to you about the value of when you're doing something, particularly if it's something new, the value of showing up to consistently keep going. Now, our heads will mess with us. Other people might mess with us. Society might mess with us. But I just want to be a little bit of clarity for you in what you're doing. Consistency is one of the most important things when we're doing and embarking on things that are new, things that are scary, things that might make us doubt ourselves a little bit, okay? Because I'm no stranger to this, which is why I wanted to do this episode for you. Because now, for example, let's put an example out there. I could easily think and have thought, oh, my podcast has been going since May now. Oh, it should be this. I should have this amount of listeners. Why don't I have this yet? Why don't I have that yet? I should be doing this. Yeah, these are not good things to say. These are the sort of things that will diminish your creativity. And I often sometimes get scared by the podcast. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I sort of end up with a bit of a block and I can't then go forward and record more. So I have to stay on top of this feeling, this comparison. Who am I comparing to? Who else has done this exact same podcast as myself? Nobody. Yeah. Because everybody's unique. So it's impossible that it's been done before. So why am I comparing? Yeah. It's very easy to get caught up in stats, numbers and things, and I try not to look at them very often. And to be honest, when I do look at them, I do get excited. But then I'll see somebody else who's been doing a podcast for a year and they've got X amount, and I'm like, what? Why? But I haven't been doing mine that long, and even if I have, it's different. Everybody's journey is different. So the way I market mine and put mine out there is going to be different to somebody else's. And it's having the confidence to let something grow organically. Now, something that I've always lived by, and I don't think I learned this from someone. I think this was something that I just internally picked up. So when I was setting up Purity Studio back in 2006, it was called Purity Pole Dancing at the time, not Purity Studio. And I was trying to get 4 different locations. So I used to do Twickenham, Woking, Reading and Maidenhead. So they were all quite spread about, all different directions of travel. But now I firmly believed that it took about a year. Now I might get a class full on the first ever class I did, or it might have taken a lot longer. But I gave myself a year at a new venue, and that has never done me wrong. So one of the venues I set up, which happened to be like around the Woking area, that the first year I was losing money. The other venues were keeping that one going because that one I was just not getting the people, and the venue was my most expensive one as well, so that didn't help. But I just wasn't getting the people, nothing. And do you know what? 2 weeks when my year contract for that venue ran out, I thought I'm not gonna renew it. No. In that last 2 weeks, I think I gave them a month's notice, but in the last 2 weeks, I end up full classes and a waiting list. I was like, are you kidding me? Literally, it took pretty much a year, 50 weeks it took for that venue to actually get there. And you know what? I'm pretty sure that the woman that I gave that to, who taught, because she taught for me and taught there, and I'm pretty sure she still teaches there. I'm pretty sure it's still going. I'm so impressed. Because I then had to leave that venue, because I had to leave it anyway, because they'd got somebody else in. So I had to find somewhere else in 2 weeks. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I found somewhere else. And it was just interesting that took literally a year. So, and I'm not saying it would take a year and then that's it, you'll be fine and dandy. But what I'm saying is you need to give it the time. I don't believe in losing lots of money when you're doing stuff. So please take this and make it work for you. If you're losing going into debt, but Jolene says you've got to do it for a year. No. Sometimes you do need to cut it at a different point. But in my experience, I'm talking about the consistency of showing up and giving yourself time. Yeah. I was also told that, because I used to work for a pole school for about 1.5 years before I then set up and went and did it myself, because I wanted to do different areas. I wanted to be a bit closer to home because I was teaching quite far away 3 times a week. So I wanted to set up in a different place. And do you know what they told me? They said, your business won't last a year. You don't know what you're doing. And I thought, do you know what? They didn't say it. It sounds a little bit malicious, but they did not say it in that sort of way. They were talking about it in a oddly, I know it doesn't sound caring, but I felt like they were saying it in a caring way. Like, no, I really think you should stay here because most businesses don't survive. And I have heard this since, not directly to me, but just in general. Like, a lot of businesses do not survive. You have to be quite scrappy to get by. I mean, I don't have the latest car. I don't have the latest phone. I never have done. I've even gone 3 months before without getting paid. But I'm scrappy. I get by because I know what's so important to me. And it's how I live and how I show up. But honestly, consistency will get you somewhere. I promise you. And it's a bit like this podcast. I'm showing up and I'm putting stuff up for you every week because it means so much to me. It really does mean so much to me to be able to share my voice and my insights and my stories with you. And that is my driving force, not the stats, not the money. I can tell you now, I've spent out quite a lot of money on this podcast. I haven't made any money from this podcast. Well, I say I haven't made any money. I haven't made any money directly from it. This is how much it means to me, is by putting out this message into the world. That's my driving force. Now, if I start going into, some people have said to me already, they've said, oh, well, so how much do you make from it? Or how do you make your money from it? And I'm like, I can make money from this, but right now, it's not about that. There's something more pressing inside me that is getting this podcast out there. And I've got to be careful not to get caught up in other people's expectation, society's expectation as well. And like I say, you can transfer this to anything that you're doing, but it's about making it work for you. But I just want you to know that if you've been trying to do something or set something up and it just doesn't seem to be working, 1, look at how you're doing it. Is there something different you can do? But 2, keep doing it. Keep showing up in whatever way, shape or form you can. You've got to keep showing up because it's the devotion to your craft that is going to get you somewhere. Do not get caught up on stats. Do not get caught up on likes and follows and things like that, because that's not what life is about. Life is about engagement. Now, the people that have got in touch with me about some of these episodes I've done have touched me deeply. You have absolutely no idea. The people who have left reviews or come to me directly and said their own view or told me a story or told me something that's had a knock-on effect because of what my podcast has done, has made it so much that I just want to show up more. Yeah. So I really appreciate the engagement that I've had. And you might listen to this and you might have never given me any sort of engagement. That's okay, because you are still showing up. You're still listening. You're still putting in the time for you. And I fully respect that you've been doing that. So I just want to say thank you so much. I'm not actually sure now, since recording this particular episode, if this was for me or for you, because I feel like it's been quite cathartic actually going through this one. So yeah, I'm going to say thank you for listening to me with this one on my little ramble, and I really hope that it's also helped you as well. Remember to lead through your life with your heart and to live with intention. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please do share it with your friends and on social media. If you have the time to rate or review this podcast, I'd be ever so grateful. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at Jolene Sensual Being. The links to my YouTube and to sign up to my mailing list will be in the show notes as well. I look forward to speaking with you again very soon.